Hi everyone, so in today's video we're going to continue working with Spellbinders' new collection called Yana De-Light-Ful Christmas, and it's like a play on words, De-Light-Ful. One of the plates has like little string lights, really cute, and things like that to tie it together. And you already saw an intro where we created this gorgeous card. I am just loving it. I mean, oh, that aura foil, so pretty together. But today what we're going to do is probably work with this one, the Poinsettia bloom here. So again, it has two dies, but this one cuts away and then leaves other, you can paper piece, you can do things like that with it. So there's different capability within this one die. So we will use that today. We might use the I want to say it's called Holly and Foliage 3D embossing folder, and we already have some sentiments from the last video. You saw one on my card, and I still have a couple here, so we'll probably pair it with one of these sentiments. So we're just going to jump right in. Spellbinders did send these items free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own. And any links down in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. Yeah, so we'll just get started. Well, actually, having said that, when I talk about Spellbinders having sent these free of charge, as you can see, they're samples, so they're usually like in a little baggie. Sometimes they're the actual packaging you will receive, but your packaging, like this guy will be on a carrier, it'll have some inspo. If it's something easy put together, sometimes it'll have some quick instruction on there, things like that, but it's not just like this. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, guys, so out of my stashes, grabbed some gorgeous, really reflective gold paper and a card base, and I will also need some white paper as like a card topper. See how big this is. I was going to do like a shaker kind of thing where you would just kind of go ahead and inlay this like on your card topper, and you'll have that shape, and then run this through the gold paper and then inlay that on acetate, and then you'll have like a shaker, you can shaker it, But then I thought, what if we just do something flat but the paper is showing through in the back, and we can have some fun with that. So I think I'm going to run this through my gold paper a couple of times, maybe even 3 times, just to have this, and then we'll kind of scatter around our paper, and we'll still do kind of like an inlaid kind of look, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. So let me run this through 3 times. I'm going to get rid of this gold paper because it makes my camera kind of not know what to do, and I'll be right back. I ran it through. I did go forward and then back just to make sure it goes all the way through, and when I picked up my die, I just wanted to come right out. Look how pretty that is. Really what I'm heading for is just having the gold outline, but for this video or for this card, but all these bits you just kind of leave them there. If you want to inlay them back in with a different piece of paper or whatever, I would leave them kind of where they're at, and then you can piece them nicely right when you run your accent paper through or whatever. But what I can do, because it's not a lot actually, I can hold on to these pretty pieces and have really nice gold inlays for the next time I run it through, like an accent color. So I'll have all these gold flowers ready to go. Okay, I'll be right back. So I was cutting my little flowers. I was like, well, how many do I actually need? I was kind of trying to use the die to see how many would fit on an A2 size card. Again, A2 is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I was kind of playing with the pieces. Like this one's not even complete. I didn't mind. I just ran it through whatever little piece. And actually, if I wanted to, I could probably just go like that with it, right? Because that's the whole point right now. I'm going to cut off whatever little excess is hanging over the edge. Then I thought, what if I do use acetate and just put these pretty things on acetate and then layer it up that way? So I'm doing something different than what I just described. So I have a piece of acetate. It's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I know it's hard to see, but obviously it's there. And then, we need something behind it. You can do acetate and just have the acetate, I guess. But I grabbed this pretty pink paper. I was thinking red, right, to come through the poinsettias, but I was like, oh, well, let's just set it off from the sentiments I already have in red, and that'll be pretty, I think, right? Just, we're going to scatter these guys around. Everything that's hanging off the edge, we're going to cut off. How pretty is that? Whatever. So it's already going to be a little bit of level of difficulty, gluing this to acetate, not getting glue all over the place, so we'll address that. You can definitely run it through, if you wanted to put some double-sided adhesive on the back of your paper, the paper that you use for the flowers, run it through, and when you take it off, you already have adhesive. But I'm just going to be very careful with how much adhesive I use. And then, I think that's pretty, and then how we're going to stick the acetate to that background piece is like just putting glue behind where the leaves are, because of course acetate is very tricky to glue down and not show. I was thinking about doing a whole card cover of acetate and then just kind of maybe putting some twine, so that's what's going to hold it on. You can do that too. You know what I mean? So make a card base that's, you know, an A2 size card base but out of acetate, and then go ahead and put it on like a jacket. But then, since I have this pretty pink paper, I thought, well, okay, so what if we actually do go ahead and run it through? So now we're going to have pink paper that's going to have texture to it, plus these flowers. I mean, this looks really pretty already. I mean, I can tell once you trim everything down, obviously it's going to look nice and neat. But maybe with a little, you know, we'll try it. And if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't work for me, or, you know, there's no point in having that texture in the background, then we'll do something different. But for right now, I am just going to kind of pop this on here. I'm looking to see the least amount of curve I can get on this top of the card, just because, you know, it's not going to really stick down in that area, so you might as well make it easier for yourself. Okay, I'm going to run this through. Again, it's a 3D embossing folder, so for the universal plate system, it's the A plate and the adapter, and I'll be right back. Let's see how gorgeous this is. Of course, it's gorgeous. Just beautiful, really buttery looking. I don't know why I always think of carved butter. I don't even think I've ever seen carved butter in real life, but it just seems like it's just nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down just to have it. Again, these are oh, I guess not. I'm like, these are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Look how long this one is, how wide it is. I'll cut that off. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I will trim that down. I'll just go ahead and glue it down. Just glue it down with any glue that you like. I'll be right back. Glue in the back of that. Just stuck it down. Double-sided adhesive, whatever it is that you like to use. That'll be great. I'm just holding this here because, let's just use this plate. My other plate still has little scraps in it. So look how pretty that is. And then just put a sentiment. I mean, you guys, just the embossing folder and something so pretty. I'm going to put that under here, just let that sit. Maybe with a machine on top also, like this one. Okay, now this guy. So like I said, this one I already cut off. I want some of those berries up here and more berries. I think they're really pretty. And maybe something like that. And I'm just going to glue them down like this. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of in the lower third of the video. Let me move that up, or the screen. So, you definitely want to get glue everywhere. I'm doing this, applying it very, very flatly. I don't know exactly where this ends, you know, on my project. But I'm just applying it. Again, not too much, and then I'm going to dab it off also, which helps, but sometimes it'll still squeeze out, so just really pay attention when you're dabbing it off. Oh, I did want to say, the middle of the card, or the middle of the flower, the little center, it does fall out, but I wanted to keep it, so I just left it on there. And we're just going to dab, dab, dab as much off as we can. And I already forgot how I had this. It's probably something like that. Okay. So obviously we're going to stick this down. Once I have all the pieces in place, I'll just put something heavy on top like I do with this. And again, this guy, glue all over, just to make sure every little bit has something. We're going to trim away the excess. And I don't know if I need to sit here and, I'm going kind of quick for you guys, but take your time. Really getting glue on there, because there will be some pieces once we cut it away that are going to be just, you know, possibly sticking out on their own. So again, wipe off that excess glue. Just those little berries. I'm placing that like right there. So yeah, I already saw some glue come out right here, but not too bad. And this glue dries pretty clear and dries pretty quickly, so I'm going to hold that down. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Just put some glue on the back and just place it there. Look at most of it's not even going to be on there. I'll be right back. So I pretty much have that down. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit because I know I probably have glue where I don't want it. You definitely put a different mat down, but see how those pieces are there? Okay. And if I see any glue right now, you can definitely use a paper towel. I don't have one with me right now, but a lot of times just put a paper towel over it as you're squishing down. That'll help. And I'm just going to place something heavy on top, and hopefully the whole thing doesn't just stick down. And just that time that I had on this, look how nice and flat that laid. So I'm going to leave that alone for you know, a couple minutes, go wash my hands, clean up a little bit, and I'll be right back. Grab that little suction it wants to stick on pretty good. I can still see there's a little bit of like wet glue just here and there, but very, very minimal. That's awesome. Okay, see, I put extra glue probably where I didn't need it. There. And just a little bit extra here. And you can stick that down on just paper or something if that makes you feel better. I will definitely clean that up right now. I'm still gonna give this a minute to dry out here because it was covered up by plastic, so obviously it's down, it's flat, but it might still have some like wet spots. So I'm just gonna give that a moment to dry before I really cut into it, just so that my paper is not like soft. But we're basically just going to cut away all this excess. You can do it on your paper trimmer, you can do it with scissors, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. But put that to the side for a moment, clean this up really well, and I'll be right back. So I use the baby wipe, and it's alcohol free, like Mander says. My little daughter says alcohol free. And so you can see it's still kind of wet. I'm just going to let it dry. So I'm going to hold this up here while we're trimming this down. So again, just coming in here and getting rid of any of the excess glue that might be around. This is just a pair of scissors, and I can bring it over here. Now, what I would do is once you get one straight piece, then maybe you want to take it to your guillotine, you know, if you're trying to do it that way. So like I'm just following the very edge there, snip away, right? We pretty much cleared out that whole side. So we have a straight edge that I can bring over to my guillotine, and now I can do the work for me instead of me clipping down all the rest of it. That's what I'm saying. You just want something that you can bump up against here. Obviously it's going to get cut away, so I'll just cut that. And I'm looking at the very edge of my acetate, and if you really want to like kind of touch for it, you can feel that it's like right there. So if I do this, all those bits are gone. But you definitely need a straight edge to be able to do that, right? Or you're just really looking at your acetate, which is hard to do because it's hard to see. So if you brought it over here with all the different pieces, then you're just kind of paying attention to that and bring it down here and try to line it up with one of the grid lines. You can do that. I think it's just easier to find the side that has the least amount of stuff. Trim that off, and you can go from there, right? So now on this one, I can pay attention to that, or I can look at the 4 1/8 and just cut it there, right? Oh, a little piece fell off there, and actually I'm going to glue it back on. So whatever that little bit was, put some glue and just pop it back on, that little berry. Okay, and that's that. Okay, I'll be right back. Gorgeous little thing. I had that little berry down at the bottom. I can bring this back, and I'm just going to pop this on here. And you might think, well, I mean, you can just stick those gold pieces right to that pink piece, but it would be harder. And then the acetate just adds a layer of, like, fanciness. I don't know. Something different for Christmas, right? So, how are we going to glue this down? We are literally just going to turn this over and look at every area that we can put glue. And, of course, we don't put too much because you don't want to, you know, go all over the place. But, again, anywhere that I can get some glue, that was a little bit too much at the end there, just to help us out to stick this down, that's what I'm going to do. A little bit here and there. Literally anywhere I can find a space that I don't think is going to like really squeeze out too much. Small dot there, small dot, small dot. You just need a little something, right? Did I already put some there? I don't think I did. There and there, anywhere that I know will help keep this sturdy and glued down, especially, like I said, on the edges. I think that's pretty much every spot. And once I squish it down, if it looks like there's too much glue in one spot, I can lift it back up, but you gotta do that pretty quick. Because I'm gonna lay this on here, and you know I'm gonna give it a squish. That looks pretty good. I don't see too much, I don't see any glue really squeezing out anywhere. That's great. Okay, I'm going to carefully cover this like I normally do with something heavy. And since those are two slippy, slidey materials, I'm going to make sure it's going straight down. I didn't like shift at all. And let's put this guy on top. And then we're just going to put our sentiment right on top when we're ready. And I'll probably use this one. So I'm just going to get some dimensional adhesives on the back of this, and it'll be ready to go. For the first little minute or so, I took this part off because I thought, oh, what if I'm squishing it too much, you know? So just the weight of that plate should be good. And there is our card. Lots going on. I mean, you can still orient it this way or however you would like. So there she is. Looks very fancy. And then I have my little Christmas blessings here, and I mean, you can put it wherever, but I feel like it needs to go right in the center since that's all we have going on. A beautiful design, and then our wording, but I'll be careful with that. Right there. Looks pretty straight to me. At this point, if I've committed, I'm committed, right? There we go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Just another idea. Gorgeous die. Of course you have the paper piecing ability of it. You have this outer die. I have other videos where you can use dies like these. Let's say you run this through your paper. So now you have this, you know, outer portion. And then just kind of nestle this into your paper so that it's the same. Obviously this is gone. Nestle that in. Run it through your rubber embossing mat. So not just cutting it, but with the rubber embossing mat, and what it does is it'll push these little lines into your paper, and then you can just like color that paper a little bit, and then just run this through and have that outline and pop it on top. I hope that makes sense. So you'll have all the texture showing on, let's say, white paper, and then you cut this beautiful outline, just run that through some gold paper, black, whatever it is you want, layer that on top. So then your base paper is going to have the outer outline, those beautiful lines that are there, nice and textured, colored because you colored them in, you know, just this poinsettia area, and then everything else will be covered up like this leaf portion, right, with whatever paper you put on top. It looks really nice. Just another way to use those kinds of guys, or again, paper piecing as it's intended. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll have links in the description box. I'll have the images coming up, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.